Well, President Zelensky says wartime elections could be held within 3 months if Washington and other allies provide security guarantees. He made his comments after President Trump questioned Ukraine's democracy. Well, let's talk now to Mark Cancian, the senior advisor at Washington Center for Strategic and International Studies. Mark, welcome back. Good to see you. Does Ukraine really need an election now?
Well, constitutionally, they don't. The Constitution provides for suspending elections during times of martial law and emergency. But this has been a talking point for the Russians and many of the commentators who oppose Ukraine. So there's probably some value in holding elections.
We're seeing these reports that the Coalition of the Willing is having a video call tomorrow, I understand. They're meeting in person in Berlin on Monday. What might we read into that, if anything?
Well, there have been two events in the last week or so. One is that Russian intransigence about negotiations has become clear. They've not agreed to the peace proposals that the United States and Europe and Ukraine had put together. And then Trump has become increasingly anxious to get an agreement and has now been pushing Zelensky. So I suspect that this meeting will consider both of those and push back.
The meetings are easy in a sense, aren't they? I mean, it's actually doing something that seems more difficult. Is this time going to be any different?
Well, it's worth being united, that is, having a united position for Ukraine and the Europeans so they can talk with Trump and Putin. So there's value in continuing that dialogue and showing that that unity continues.
I just want to talk about the practicality of the elections briefly. I mean, as well as security at polling stations, how might frontline soldiers and millions of displaced refugees vote in any election?
Well, keep in mind that the United States has always held elections during wartime. We did that even in our Civil War. We did it in World War I, World War II, and all through the subsequent wars. When I was in the Marines deployed to Iraq in 2006, I voted in the by-elections. So for many democracies, this is not unusual. What the United States does is it has mail-in ballots for people abroad and for the military, and then provides security where needed for polling stations in the country. And the Ukrainians could expand mail-in voting in areas where security is uncertain.
And would an election now play into Putin's hands, as some Ukrainian members of parliament might argue?
I think that an election actually might strengthen Ukraine's hand, because one of the talking points for Russia and for many commentators in the United States who oppose Ukraine is that this is an illegitimate government, therefore it should not be negotiating, and an election would establish a government that represents the people and is more credible than a government that hasn't faced elections in
Mark,
plus years.
Always good to see you, and thank you so much for your time. Mark Cancian, the senior advisor at Washington Center for Strategic and International Studies.